Tell me if this has ever happened to you where price breaks a level of support resistance and you think it's a breakout, so you enter for the trade only to realize that you entered into a fake out, resulting in a loss. These are very frustrating moments because we are told to buy at levels of support, to sell at levels of resistance, but when we try to incorporate that into our trading, it doesn't work out. So for today's video, I'm going to be sharing with you a very simple but effective strategy, or I should say a method that you can apply to your strategy that will confirm your entries and thereby increase the probability of your trades to close in profit. This is a method that I use throughout all of my trading, where in this particular case, allows us to capitalize a little under $4,000. Now, as always, we'll share with you our live trading footage, trade entries, but more importantly, we're going to break down this method while at the same time keeping things as simple as possible, so that way you can incorporate this to your trading and thereby improve your overall win rate. So with that being said, let's hop in the charts. Now, our main point of interest were for a couple of sell positions we had taken between 27.53 and 27.52 as a result of a breakout of our ascending trend line. Now, as you can see, price is wedging, right? We have an ascending trend line and a descending trend line. Now, as a scalper or even an intraday trader, a lot of people tend to, take advantage of buys and sells as price taps into the ascendant and descending trend lines. But as the wedge continues to form, the price action is getting narrow. So think of price as a spring that is getting compressed, where eventually that spring is going to unload, which leads to the question, where is price going to, in other words, bounce to? Is it going to bounce to the up or downside? So this is where we have to wait for the breakout. Is it going to break out from our descending trend line or our ascending trend line? So we wait for the breakout, which occurred a few moments later here. But just because we have a breakout, does that mean we enter for a sell? No, we need to wait until we have a confirmed breakout. What is a confirmed breakout? A confirmed breakout is where you have a breakout followed by a retest of that zone where price had broken out. Why is this so important? Because in many cases, which I'm sure many of you can relate, price might break out of a trend, which forces a lot of traders to assume that we are now seeing a trend breakout and a potential trend reversal. So they enter for a trading position only to realize that it was a fake out where price resumes its original trend trajectory. So in efforts to avoid those fake outs, this is why we need to wait for a confirmed breakout. Now, this concept isn't just applied in this example of trend trading or trend breakouts, but also applicable when you have a breakout from a level of support or resistance. Since we have the breakout and we want to take a sell for a potential trend reversal, we want to see price retest this breakout zone and close below the initial breakout candle. Once we have the retest and the close below, that is essentially a confirmation that the buyers have failed to break back above our trend line, confirming that we are now most likely to see a trend reversal where the sellers come into play. Now here we have price coming up, retesting this ascending trend line, what was prior support now serving as resistance, but we do not have a candle closing below the initial breakout. Again, price is retesting this level as resistance, starting to see bearish momentum. Now at this point, we have multiple retests of our ascending trend line now serving as resistance, but price is yet to close below the initial breakout level. So you want to be mindful of these events because even though price broke out of our trend line, it could still consolidate and then continue upward. So we wait, and now we have a bearish candle closing below the breakout zone. Not only do we have a candle closure, but we can also see based off of this candle, we had a long wick representing rejection, forcing the candle to close below the zone, which led us to our entries between 27.52 and 27.53. Our stop loss is set beyond this level of resistance, with take profit set at 27.43 for 100 pips. As the trade plays out, we can see how price went into profit, consolidated for a bit, and came back into drawdown. However, we are not concerned because it has not broken our zone. What do I mean by that? When we pan out, again, this breakout started with the formation of this wedge where we have this descending trend line. Price attempted to break out of that descending trend line a couple of times, but failed to do so as a result of price closing back below our trend line. Not only did it close below our trend line, but it also failed to break above this resistance. Why is this resistance so important? Because when we drag this to the left, what was support here now served as resistance from the breakout, testing that level as resistance once again. So as long as price fails to break our descending trend line and our level of resistance, in other words, breakup structure, we are not concerned about losing this trade or closing this trade preemptively in fear that this trade might lose. As a result, price dropped, hitting our take profit zone at 27.43 for 100 pips, closing at a profit of under $4,000. So what I want you to take from this is that whenever you have price breaking out of a zone, whether it's a trend line, a level of support, or resistance, don't just jump into a trade when price breaks that zone. Wait for a confirmed breakout where you have the breakout followed by a retest and closure of that zone. Because just like how we showed you as this trade was progressing, yes, we had a couple of breakout attempts from our descending trend line, but we never had a confirmed breakout as we explained in this zone. By waiting for the confirmed breakout, this increases the probability of price to most likely head in that direction based on the breakout for the upside or downside. Step 1, we wait for the breakout. Step 2, wait for a retest and then a closure of a candle below the candle breakout. This is to further validate that we have a true breakout. Once you have a closure below the breakout candle, take the entry, set your stop loss, and take profits at levels of structure. Manage the trade accordingly and collect your profits. Keep your trading simple, do not rush your trades, and you'll see massive improvements with your trade entries.
All right, traders, that concludes our video for today. Hope you gained some value. Again, if you have any questions, reach out anytime. Don't forget to check out our trading resources down below in the video description. If you want to watch any of our recent uploads, you can check out these recommendations. Thanks for watching. We'll see you on the next one.